playing his mandolin. Layla's eating her breakfast.
G&D the whole song.
And I thought I'd answer a couple more questions again, because I got a bunch of questions. So I figured I better start answering them, because I'll get behind. Ken Page wrote, I'm so curious about the fan for the head. Was that big 3-inch hose it? If so, I'd like to talk to you guys about a much simpler composting head. Total cost minus carpentry labor about $115. Vicky and I have been happy with it for 2 years now, and it only uses a 0.3 amp fan. That's right, 0.3 amps. Yeah, I think the fan that we have is a computer fan. Yeah. But the reason why we did that was because we had made...
showers.
Yeah, we take showers in here, and every time that little fan that goes right on the toilet gets wet. It's supposed to be sealed, and we probably could seal it, but it wasn't really working correctly. And where the hose goes out overboard, it doesn't go overboard in the water, it just goes overboard in the air.
So we just put a bigger fan in?
Yeah, so we actually put a bigger fan in because that smaller fan wasn't really keeping up with, I think because it's a little bit of a long run with the hose, and so we put it kind of in line of the hose to keep the air really moving out. So that's the reason why, because we were dealing with a little bit of smell, and where it was coming, the smell was coming into was into our aft cabin, which is where we sleep, and that's kind of gross to smell that, so we had to fix that. So that's kind of our repair, was making a little bit bigger of a fan.
That
it's
fan
kind of
doesn't
like,
draw hardly anything.
yeah, what kind of fan is it? Like one
It's
for...
a little computer fan.
It's a computer fan, and it's one that goes on like a compressor for a fridge. It's like a little compressor fan. It's a little bigger, and it keeps up a little more than those little tiny little computer fans.
It's the same size fan that's on the airhead.
Rick James wrote, "Do you have an estimate on how long on the hard?" We were thinking like a month or two. We usually haul out every year. We kind of take this opportunity to really get some things done on the boat, because usually we're anchored out or out on the water instead of like at a dock, so it's a lot harder to get things done when you're out on the hook. So yeah, when we haul out every year, we usually try to take a really good opportunity. We take this opportunity to really try to get, some rot places fixed, some carpentry things we've been wanting to get done, using of electricity, of 110 volt electricity is great to be able to get some things done. Granted, we could get a generator, and we've contemplated this, but I think we've come to the conclusion that getting a generator...
Rent one.
Yeah, we could rent one for cheaper than the upkeep of having one, because having another motor, I don't think we could deal with. How'd everybody like the Layla's Christmas song? Glenda Hernandez said, how much does Layla weigh? I would say like 20.
40.
Really? 40? Somebody liked my gecko. The correct answer is asked, just wondering if there's a modern day alternative to Oakham. I used to have an all-wood Lyman powerboat from the 50s, but for those boats you just relied on the swelling of the wood to make them watertight.
They're lap strike.
Yeah, that's because
Same with ours.
that's because Lymans are lapstrake, and that's the same with ours. Lapstrake,
Don't have the Oakham.
Yeah, you don't have any Oakham in the lapstrakes.
Like Caulking.
Yeah, beat a caulking. We do tar because we got a copper bottom.
Well, I use caulking above the waterline.
And as for the Oakham, the reason why we hammer the Oakham on the deck.
Decks are different.
Yeah,
They're
because the decks are carvel planked, so yeah, we hammer the Oakham in to try to.
Hard,
looks like my hair. My nickname was Oakham.
Oakham's a little.
And Lymans are cool. I actually had a friend that was selling a Lyman. I helped him sell his Lyman. Troy Reynolds asked, what kind of tea do you like? I like Earl Grey and chai. Berlat's D, this is a French name, and I'm not very good with French, but Berlat's DM, I'm just going to say that. It could be not French. I'm not sure. It looks like French, though. But Surprised that you caulk the deck with dry cotton. Do you have a leaking problem already? And then he wrote, or was it oakum? With the cotton, you'll paint it with linseed oil after you put it in, and that'll soak into, and then you put hot tar on top of the oakum.
But we, in that repair, we just did that with that wetsuit material caulking.
Yeah, we actually used, and on any of our seams, we found this wetsuit. It's a neoprene
Gasket.
Well, I don't think
Caulking.
it's, well, it's like a neoprene roof caulking. Yeah. And it sticks to tar because all of our decks are tarred. So it's nice to find something that would stick to tar. We tried a lot of different things and it would just rub off.
It's so messy to do repairs with heating up tar and all that, so we wanted to find something to tube. So we tried that blackjack stuff and all kinds of stuff, and this stuff actually made it so we could sand the decks without getting tar all over the place, but we still have that soft tar underneath it, which was really amazing that it worked so good. That really kind of changed our lives. Thank you, neoprene gasket
stuff.
Material stuff.
Yeah. It was needed because, man, we had leaks. And that happens because, you know, the decks move and then the tar breaks open and then that allows the water to get in.
The tar sticks better to the edges of the wood.
Yeah, than it does to itself.
Than the caulking does. Caulking will break away from the edge of the wood and you'll get a leak there.
Yeah.
But the tar won't do that. But then it kind of splits down the middle.
Major Attitude said, love that dog. So do we. She's a sweetie pie. Bruce McIntyre, how cold was it that morning? It wasn't that cold. It was such a wimp. I'm a Floridian. What's the name on the Formosa next to you in the yard? I don't know. See if it's got a name, guys. A lot of people have been asking about this Formosa. Okay, so here's the Formosa. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's covered up with a bunch of tarps everywhere. It needs some love. I don't know who owns it or anything about the boat, but let's see what the name of it is. Looks like the name boards are not painted, but let's see. I think it used to have a name, but it doesn't anymore, guys. Let's keep answering questions. Okay. Richard Declined said, I live partially under a rock, so I don't know anything about Courtney's hairstyle. Can you provide more info or perhaps a link? Well, this hairstyle is called dreadlocks, and it actually does it on its own once it starts. The thing you have to do is you have to separate it apart because it'll kind of start clumping together. So you have to separate it apart at the roots. And I don't do anything else to it really for keeping it this way. It just continues to grow just like this from the roots. I don't do anything at all. It's pretty amazing. Low maintenance hair, I can wash it, I can condition it, I don't have to brush it. And I want it to grow all the way down to the ground. I want it to be really long. The only thing is it gets a little heavy when it gets that long, so and also, I've noticed, depending on the kind of shampoo you use, it'll get heavier. So it's good to find shampoos that don't have a lot of weight to it. But other than that, it's a really easy hairstyle. Plus, you can decorate it with lots of decorations. As it's getting longer, I can actually tie up my own hair with itself, which is kind of cool. Al Morris asked, how does Pete plan to repair the holes that have developed in the sheeting below the waterline? How are you going to repair those holes, Pete, in the copper?
Well, we're doing some experiments right now. We're going to fill some of them with some filler.
The small ones, right?
Small ones, and other ones we're going to put,
pinholes.
We're just going to patch copper over the top of them with tar.
We're going to check them, cut into it a little bit and check.
But then the ones I'm trying to, I might use some of that neoprene gasket material.
That's a good idea. But when you scrub it, it might...
I might use epoxy.
Okay.
Just...
And a little bottom paint on it or something.
Just put it on there. I don't know if I'll bother.
Yeah.
And if something sticks to it, it might... It's not going to be perfect though, that's for sure. But
until we haul out in Maine. Or Nova Scotia. See, when we haul out up north, the copper bottoms do you can keep the copper bottom on for 10 years. What? But now we're starting to notice that the copper's not keeping up. It's turning green a little faster, so we're going to try to scotch pad it down and try to bring out the, what's it called, copper oxide? But the sheeting's getting a little thin, we're noticing, so it is time to do the copper again. So when we go up to Maine and Nova Scotia and haul out for the winter up there, I think we're going to do that up there. It'll be better for the boat because it'll be colder, plus if there is any kind of worms in the hull, we'll be up in the colder climes and killing any kind of worms also. Perry MC asked, what brand cookware are you using? I don't know.
It's from
Bed Bath & Beyond, I think I got the pressure cooker.
Oh,
well, we got the one frying pan from IKEA. A friend of ours gave us a cast iron pan, which I don't know if I really like on a boat because it gets rusty, but as long as you keep oiling it. It's kind of heavy too.
It's good for cooking.
And iron is good for you. And then the pressure cooker, I don't know. I mean, I've tried different various types, and they're all good. I don't really have any beef with any of the pressure cookers. They've got a lot of safety things on them now, and they're really good. I would say a smaller pressure cooker is better on a boat than like the bigger ones. So I think mine's like a 3-quart or something, and then they got like 5 quarts, which are huge. I think mine's either like a 2 or 3. I can't remember. Trying to find the smaller ones though is really hard because I don't know why. Maybe because they're more dangerous to have a smaller one. I'm not sure, but you guys might know. Okay, that's all I got for now. Looks like. Oh, I do have a question that I found somewhere else. Let me see. Somebody asked me something. Ah, okay. Peggy Tayseer asked regarding Layla. Where does she go potty? Do you have her trained on a pee pad or something? Layla is really...
Has to go to shore.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes she has to go to shore and sometimes she doesn't. She's kind of picky.
If you wait long enough, she'll go.
Yeah, she will go on deck.
It's not very comfortable for her.
Yeah, she will go on deck, but she gives you this guilty look the whole time. She's not very comfortable with the fact that she has to go on deck, but she will. So we've noticed that if we just take her leash and put it up on the forward deck and pat the deck, and then the other thing we have to do is go down below and hide, because if we're watching her, she won't go. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you guys in a little while. So we're running some errands this morning. I'm gonna grab a couple things to do a little bit of work. It looked like it was gonna rain earlier, but now it's been looking good, so I think we're probably gonna be okay. Fix the odometer. I got something in my eye that's bugging me.
Putting a bead of caulking underneath this. This will just keep the caulking off of the wood in case I get a little sloppy with it. But I need to caulk that too, but I gotta sand it first. I wonder if I should machine sand that real quick. I'll caulk it, I'll put some primer on it. It's just dry off first. Hand sand that. This first off. Should I lock on it or something? Ain't you got anything better to do? That's following me around. That goddamn camera!
What you doing now?
What's it look like I'm doing?
Well, what are you gonna do? Paint it?
Try it. Caulk it first and then prime it.
Layla's hanging out in the bus, and here's the repair we did on the speedometer. You can see the little C-clips we put on there. Layla's being a good girl. She's being a good girl. Yes. And I'm doing a little laundry. It's almost lunchtime, so I'll probably make some lunch. 1:30 and 2 o'clock. I'll have a TV interview today, so I'll do that. They're gonna come to the boat and take a tour of Norna. Job for me. He said I could sand the hose pipes down and
Get the paint out, I'm
paint
using
that.
the ladder right now. So just find the paint you need first, and I'll get those for you right up here.
Okay. I don't even know where to begin. Maybe I should organize your truck a little bit too. It's getting a little messy. A little messy. So easily to make a mess, so much better. At least everything you can kind of find. Anyways, it's about lunchtime, so I'm gonna go make us some lunch. Lunch thanks to my cilantro herb garden. There's cilantro and basil in there, and then a tomato and cheese sandwich. That's a pretty good lunch. So I'm gonna scuff down these hose pipes and get them ready for paint. And also these doors need some paint and varnish. Pete is actually upstairs sanding down the cabin sides to get that ready for paint as well. Grit.
And rain's on its way tomorrow, I think. How's it going, Pete? I'm Stan. Nice to meet you.
The bare spots with some primer. I got some primer here. So put a little primer on these guys, and then it'll be ready for paint. Okay, I got some deck sealant on all the raw wood and put on the top coat. Okay, now it's time for top coat. I'm going to do the underside first, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the top side. It's raining. I was in the middle of painting. Just enough to get everything wet.
I need some vinegar.
You want some vinegar?
Yeah, that might be good.
I'm hoping that the GoPro got a little bit of Pete doing this caulking job, but it seems like the GoPro died, so I don't know. I hope it did. But really, what he did, if the GoPro didn't work, was he taped off the wood here. He took some blue tape and taped that off, and then he put the caulking in and smeared it into place, and then he peeled that tape before the caulking dried.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came by, checked it out.
Yeah.
He's got a book.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
Ah, great book.
Yeah.
Great boat. Great boat.
Thank
Everybody
you.
needs to see this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great couple here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
It's really cool. Oh man, all my batteries are dying.
She's done a great job with it.
You know, it started out, YouTube trying to sell the book. I said, you could try to sell it on the thing. Yeah.
I hope not. You on the job? Okay.
Well, my battery's dying. My battery died on my GoPro, and now this one's dying. I don't know why. I've charged him yesterday. I must have been using a lot of film today. 5 o'clock now. We're gonna relax the rest of the night, I think.
You finish yours and go back home.